After years and years of rumors about a Knights of the Old Republic remake, it has finally been officially announced. During PlayStation Showcase 2021, we got our first trailer, which didn't reveal much other than the fact that it's happening. The PlayStation blog got into more details, stating the teams at Aspyr and Sony Interactive Entertainment have joined forces with Lucasfilm Games to bring you a remake of the classic Star Wars adventure. They're rebuilding one of the greatest RPGs of all time for a new generation with modern tech, features, visuals, and more, while maintaining the integrity of the story and characters that we've come to cherish. The post goes on to ask, why remake Knights of the Old Republic? Well, nearly 20 years after it first debuted, the original KOTOR is still one of the most beloved games of all time, and even as Star Wars travels to new horizons, we know the community is as eager as ever to return to this iconic era of storytelling and action. With Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake, our hope is to give both series newcomers and long-term fans an experience that can live alongside the very best modern releases. We're rebuilding it from the ground up with the latest tech to match the groundbreaking standard of innovation established by the original, all while staying true to its revered story. So what's next? Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake is a tremendous undertaking encompassing almost every aspect of the original game. We're still in early development, but we're happy to finally have announced the remake and hear the PlayStation community's thoughts on what you're excited to see. I included just what I thought were the most relevant quotes from that post, but I put a link to the entire article in the description. I think this is great news. What I love most is that multiple times the post talks about how they are maintaining the story and characters of KOTOR. That's key. I really do think it's one of the most enjoyable Star Wars stories out there. In fact, if you've never played it and don't know anything about it, I would do my best to avoid anything else about the game. That's going to be hard since we don't have a release date and it's early in development, but this is one of those stories that are best enjoyed with no prior knowledge. And to warn you, I will be getting into some spoilers for the story later on in this video. All you really need to know is that it all takes place about 4,000 years before the events of the films. It's about the Sith Lords Darth Revan and Darth Malak as they wage war against the Republic and the Jedi Order. But at this point in time, the rule of two is not a thing. There are Sith all over the place. Sith Lords, Sith Apprentices, Sith Troopers. It's a very different look at the galaxy, but with plenty of familiar elements to keep the era firmly planted in the Star Wars story. I'm also excited to see what they do to update the gameplay. While I love the story, I'm not a huge fan of the mechanics. That's just my personal preference. I prefer action-adventure games like Fallen Order over turn-based mechanics. I assume it's possible the KOTOR remake could shift more towards something like Mass Effect, more of a hybrid of role-playing and action games. I'm not expecting that. I think die-hard fans would probably want to keep the familiar gameplay style with some updated quality-of-life features. Maybe they could make Carth Onasi less freaking annoying. I don't know, I'm just spitballing. Either way, it's not going to affect whether or not I play the remake. I'm definitely going to. On the downside of things, the game is only going to be available on PlayStation 5 and PC at launch. The fact that they included at launch in the post leads me to believe that it will eventually open up to all platforms, which is good and only makes sense, but it's a bummer that the game won't be available to everyone right at the start. That's the only negative I see in this announcement so far. But to get ahead of a question I know is going to pop up, does this make the game canon? I doubt it, at least right now. There's a slim chance they could announce that yes, they have decided to use the remake as a chance to insert its events and characters into the galactic timeline. Revan's name has already been mentioned in canon. There are some inconsistencies in some new stories I can think of, but nothing that couldn't be hand-waved away. Or I guess the game itself could be updated to address those contradictions, which would be neat. Like I said, it's possible, but I'm not expecting that to be the case. I think they're just remaking the game. And honestly, I've come around on that idea the past few years. I kinda like the idea that Revan could continue to be referenced in canon like he or she has been. But I think having a canon definition of Revan goes against the spirit of the game. Revan is such a fun character because they are who we make them to be. And yeah, I know there was a Legends canon version of Revan and his story that was set in stone. We know what he looked like and what he did, but there's something fun about knowing that yes, there was a Darth Revan, and that Revan was your Revan. He or she made the choices you made. They returned to the light side or they remained in the dark. Either way, their name was remembered 4,000 years later. I don't know, that's just become my preference, but I'm sure everyone has a different opinion on that. No matter what, this is a very exciting announcement. You can expect us to cover the game as we learn more, and obviously we'll play it when it comes out. Maybe I'll finally muster up the fortitude to play it dark side. I've tried multiple times, but I always feel so guilty. Let me know your thoughts on the announcement down in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.